They said I never rise, tried to clip my wings, but now I own the skies. I'm the one who sings. I stood on the battlefield bold and raw. They tried to cut me down, said I taste the flaw. But here I stand now feeling tall. The doubts crumble like a castle wall.
We wanna run the wall under the burning sun.
Now I watch them run like the night undone. They wanted us down to see us crawl, but in the end we broke the fall. They fall.
They whispered words meant to twist and bind. Told me my dreams were just lost in time. But I kept my heart wild and free. Their darkness couldn't swallow me.
They laughed behind my back, called me just a dreamer. But now I'm on the track, I'm a true believer.
Look at them running, ducking and hiding. They thought we'd fall, now we're the titans.
They tried to take me down, told me I'd be nothing, but wore a broken crown. Now I'm the one bluffing.
We won the war under the burning sun.
Now I watch them run like the night undone. They wanted us down to see us crawl, but in the end we broke, they fall.
Look at them running, ducking and hiding. They thought we'd fall,
Now we're the titans. Look at them now, head in their hands. We built a kingdom from the wastelands. United and fierce, our spirits soar. They never knew we'd win this war.
we wanted it so bad. We fought, they took this fight. Now they stand so sad, blinded by our light. We won the war under the burning sun. Now I watch them run like the night undone. They wanted us down to see us crawl, but in the end we broke. They fall, they fall.
Now they the shadows hiding in fear. We the beacon shining bright and clear. They echoes fade in the dust we rise, with victory's flame in our eyes. Now they the shadows hiding in fear. We the beacon shining bright and clear. They echoes fade in the dust we rise, with victory's flame in our eyes.
Good evening, good evening, good evening. How is everyone doing tonight? Hopefully everyone is doing well. I am Tico Droff. We are engineered to win. We like to win here, all right? So tonight is Tech Q&A. I have some amazing questions that we're going to be going over tonight. I'm going to be sharing my insight, and if you guys have any questions as well, feel free to either ask in the chat or click on the link to join the conversation. You don't even have to be on camera. I'm going to turn the interview link on right now, just in case anyone wants to call in and have a conversation. That is open for you to do. All right. So before we get started, did you guys see the SpaceX pod land in the Gulf of America? Yes, SpaceX brought those astronauts that were stranded in space at the Space Center back home today, I believe. and they landed in the Gulf of America, right off the coast of Tallahassee, Florida. So shout out to SpaceX bringing the astronauts back home. I believe they brought back the astronauts that were stuck in space, right? Correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure that's who was on the spacecraft that landed a little over an hour ago, maybe about an hour and a half ago it landed. Let me know if you saw that. Let me know if you saw. I thought it was pretty cool, pretty remarkable that they landed right off the Gulf of America, right off the coast of Florida. All right, so that is that. Let's jump into our agenda for tonight. Time is running, and time is always of the essence. So First and foremost, I just got to say a big thank you to all of the subscribers to the channel. We are growing so fast, and I just cannot thank you enough. Shout out to the new subscribers. Shout out to those who have been with me for a very long time. To those who watch from the clouds, and to those who watch from the bushes, and to those who are very active in the chat that I talk to on a regular basis. Those who leave me comments, I appreciate every single last one of you.
I appreciate you.
And salute to all of my Patreon members, my tech barbarians, and my tech prodigy that I work with one-on-one. We are running it up. Shout out to my technical explorers who I connect with as well, who are working so hard every single day, engaging in different activities, learning Python, learning so many different things. Shout out to you all. You guys are the best.
We the best.
And shout out to my tech mercenaries. Those are the YouTube members of the channel who keep this channel going. You know what? Let's get it, tech mercenaries.
Let's get it.
And if you want to work with me one-on-one, if you need some coaching, if you need to level up in your career, whether you are well experienced or whether you are looking to get into the field and looking for some guidance, go to techcoachralph.dev, sign up an account today. You choose the tier that you need. If you want to work with me one-on-one, you have the Tech Barbarians option. You have the Tech Prodigy members, the Tech Prodigy Plus option. If you just want some exclusive content and you want to be able to collaborate with other people, then you can become a technical explorer. All right. Yesterday, I posted the Scrum Night from January. I'm back. While I'm away, I'm going to try to get caught up on our different Scrum Nights. I haven't even put the Scrum review for that one yet for the free members, but I'm going to be working on that in the next coming few days. But that is techcoachralph.dev. Whatever it is that you need, I can help you with that. All right. Quick housekeeping. We are, let me actually put this on the screen. Let me put this on the screen so that anyone can know what exactly we are working on tonight. Let's go with just like that. Boom. Tech Q&A, call in, ask in the chat. All right. So, on this channel, we have been working on our large language model course, learning AI. We're going to be continuing with that tomorrow morning. We've been working on ethical hacking on Thursday nights. We've been working on DevOps on Sunday afternoons. So, if you are interested in any of those, then you definitely want to subscribe to the channel so that you can follow along and that you can learn with me as I'm figuring this stuff out. All right. Our next show is going to be tomorrow morning at because I might start around 8:15 tomorrow because I have a little bit more time tomorrow because I'm going to be traveling a little bit. So 8:15, I'm going to say around 8:15, 8:30 tomorrow morning. We're going to get that started. We're going to be continuing working on the project that we're working on yesterday for building our AI helper assistant thingy for our large language model course. I think it's actually pretty easy compared to all the crazy work that we've done in the past few weeks, but I'm here for it. So we're going to continue working on that. Thursday, I will not be live. I'm pretty sure I'm not going to be live on Thursday. What I'm thinking about doing is playing back a video live that I did for cybersecurity maybe a year and a half ago, maybe a year ago, where I'm going to choose one. I'm thinking about playing back the one for Grafana because I will be recovering from competition, but I'm like, you know what? Maybe I can play back one of those videos. That way, you guys can see some of the stuff that I worked on last year, or maybe even before that. It'll be a throwback. It will be a throwback. So maybe we can do. Maybe I'll be able to replay that. So we're not going to be going live, or I won't be going live on Thursday, but I will be putting out a video on Thursday, a throwback video. And then Saturday morning, I probably will not be going live as well. So the next time we'll be live after tomorrow morning is going to be Sunday for DevOps. All right. So just giving you guys that heads up. Let's see. And we're still going to have our software explorations tomorrow at noon Eastern time. We're going to be premiering that. We're going to be talking about tokenization for large language models, how tokens work and stuff like that. So that's going to be premiering tomorrow at noon. All right. Let's see. But yeah, so that's our announcements. Do me a favor though. Like the video, share the video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell so you know every time they go live and drop new content. As well, go to techodrop.dev if you want some exclusive content. If you want to work with me one-on-one, you can get all of that over there, right? The call-in link is open for anybody who wants to call in and have a conversation. I'm still collecting data for the traumatic brain injury questionnaire. So if you haven't filled that out yet, please do me a favor, fill that out. That will help my cousin gather data. She suffered a traumatic brain injury last year. She is recovering, but she wants to be able to put out content to help people who are not familiar with it, or people who are suffering from it, how to deal with it and how to have the friends and relatives deal with it as well. All right. So the link for that is in the chat. It just got posted in the chat. So if you haven't filled that out, do me a favor, fill that out. All right. All right. Let me check the chat and then we will get to our questions. Like I said, like we've been doing the past 2 weeks, in order to get through all the questions, we do 2 questions, chat, 2 questions, chat, 2 questions, chat until we're done for the night. All right. Let me check the chat and say hello to all of my friends. First and foremost, as always, we have oh my goodness. You see, these people, they haven't responded to me in a few days. I'm going to have to follow up because this is unacceptable in my eyes. Every single time we start a new stream, we have to deal with this mess. All right. I am not happy about this whatsoever, but we have the one, the only Rock the Scrubs. Roxy says, good evening, Techotroff. And y'all, good evening to you as well, Roxy. Hopefully you're having a phenomenal day. We have my guy, AR Smitty, present in the building. What's up, AR Smitty? How are you doing? Hopefully you're doing fantastic. Let's see who else we got. We have my guy, Magnetar, in the building. What's up, Magnetar? Magnetar says, Sith Coach Ralph. Salute to you as well, Magnetar. Let's see, anything else we have? Nope, I think we are all caught up with the chat. And with that being said, let's not waste any time. Let's get started. The sooner we get it done, the sooner we can wrap it up for tonight. But wait. We have Roxy saying gloss not as glossy. Oh my god. You just cannot please everyone. And we got my guy Mitch in the building. What's up, Mitch? Mitch says it just gets to a point.
Did we just become best friends? Yep.
I hear you, Mitch. I hear you loud and clear. And Mitch says just give me my money. What?
Money.
I'm doing the best that I can, Mitch. I'm doing the best that I can. All right. Let's get started with our show. Like I said, we're gonna go through 8 questions tonight, including if we get questions from the chat, then we're gonna answer those. So the priority goes: super chats get priority question. Then we have the chat questions get priority next, and then the questions that I found over here are the third priority. All right. So we're gonna get started with what I have here. So let me go ahead and we're gonna go over to here. And I'm going to throw that up there. And we're going to get started. First question of the night.
Another one.
How do daily Scrum meetings work? Also known as stand-up. So this question says, can you break down the morning stand-up? I remember it being mentioned a while back when learning Trello. It will be my great pleasure to answer that question. Let's put 5 minutes on the clock. So basically the daily Scrum / stand-up meeting works where it's generally in a team environment where you have whoever is on your Scrum team. It could be and you can also use it in Kanban as well. But I've mainly been on Scrum teams, and the way that it generally works is you have your Scrum master, you have your product owner or slash manager, you have your developers, you have your QA, whoever makes up the team. They're together, and we primarily answer 3 questions. Right? What are those 3 questions? Those 3 questions that we answer is, what did we accomplish yesterday? I know some people are afraid of that question, right? But every single day we have to answer, what did we accomplish yesterday? What are our goals for the current day? And if we have anything that's blocking us from achieving our current goals. Traditionally everyone on the team answers those 3 questions. That way we can know who's working on what's been completed. And we also say, all right, is there anything blocking us? Is there a task that's blocking us? Is there a person that's blocking us? How do we handle that? The way, and there's always different ways of doing it. There's like in the coaching group for the Tech Barbarians, the way that I do it is so we use Slack in order to communicate the work that we're doing. And I have a bot that it's called GeekBot. When what it does is it goes, so every day at 10:30 it sends a message saying, hey, how you're doing? Can you let me know what you did yesterday? What are you planning on doing today? And if you have any blockers, and that way we all see what each other's working on, in case we need to help somebody out. If somebody's stuck, we figure that out, right? But like I said, there's different ways to do it. The way that my team at work does it is we don't say what we did yesterday, like in order to save time. What we do is at the end of the day, we give an update in Slack saying, okay, this is our status for today. Did we accomplish our goals for today, or did we have some type of do we have some type of blocker? How did we do? So we have an end of day update on the actual story. And one thing we don't do at work is we don't talk about the person who's working on something. We talk about the stories in the sprint, saying, okay, what is the status of the story? What is what is our goal? And we set a goal on the story for the day, and we try to accomplish that goal. Sometimes we don't always accomplish it, but generally but that's how we set it. We update the story with a goal, and then we at the end of the day we send an update to the whole entire Slack channel saying, this is the status of this story. And then the next day we talk about what do we plan on accomplishing for that story. We set a goal on that story, and sometimes it's one person who takes on that story. Sometimes it's a collaborative effort based on whatever needs to be done. All right. So that's basically how the morning stand-up / the daily Scrum meeting works, where we are setting goals on a daily basis, and then we are keeping others updated. If we need to collaborate, we do that, all of that good stuff. And it can easily work in Kanban as well if you're working on a team, where you will have a story, because on Kanban it's just like a continuous it's an everlasting sprint, right? But you still need to update the team to let them know what is the status of a particular story and where it's at, what we intend to do with it. Like, because if a story is just open forever, then that's not going to be good. So that's a conversation that we have, and that's how we keep the team updated on our progress. Okay. Let's see. And I mean, that's basically how it works. Now, if you were looking to get into tech, right, my suggestion would be, even if you were the only person in your Slack group, set up a Slack. Right? Set up a Slack and set up the GeekBot so that you can get into the habit of doing a daily stand-up where you're setting your goals. Okay, what did I do yesterday? What am I planning on doing today? And if I have any blockers, and if you do have any blockers, how can I unblock myself? What do I need to do in order to move forward? So I think it is very, very important to get into the habit of setting your daily Scrum meetings. And I would even say, right, I know for me personally, I am not the biggest Trello advocate. I prefer especially for people who are looking to be in tech, I say set up your own Jira board, turn your life into turn your scrumify. Is Miss Freckles here? Hopefully Miss Freckles is not here, because if Miss Freckles is here, she will say that that is not a word. But I would say scrumify your life so that your life should work in 2-week sprints. And you can even have quarterly goals, right? So you say, all right, for this quarter, I plan on accomplishing this. And then you break it down into how many, a quarter is about 12 weeks. So that gives you about 6 sprints, right? I think it's about 12. I think a quarter is about 12 weeks, right? Something like that. So let's say it's 12 weeks. So that gives you 6 sprints. And you should be able to plan your 6 sprints to accomplish your quarterly goals. And then you do a daily scrum meeting with yourself saying, okay, where am I at? What do I plan on doing? What did I accomplish yesterday? What do I plan on doing today? And is there anything blocking me? How do I unblock myself, right? So that is how I would say to, one, that's going to help you get into tech. Two, that is going to help you be better in the Scrum process and be ready for the work field, right? So that is my answer to that. So let's wrap that question up. All right. Let me see. Let's do the next question, and then we will actually be getting to the chat because we have some people in here. All right, cool. So let me do the next question real quick, and then we'll get to the chat. All right, because the next question is a very, very important question, which it's a tough question, but it's a very, very good question. All right. So let's do that. And then I will get to the chat. All right. Let's go ahead and put the next one up. And
Another one.
this question is, what are common pitfalls that lead to inconsistency, and how can they be avoided? That is a tough question because there's can be many different ways that lead to inconsistency, but I will do my best to share some approaches that I take in order to not falter. All right, so let's start the timer. So we'll start off with the first part, the common pitfalls that lead to inconsistency. I think, I'm going to say this right, I think the biggest common pitfall that leads to inconsistency, I hate to say it, but it is going to be people. Yes, people are the biggest common pitfalls that lead to inconsistency, because what happens is you can set a goal of what you want to accomplish, right? But a lot of times people, and I think I spoke about it on Sunday, right? But it's like, as well-intentioned as they might be, right? They don't understand why you're doing something, and they always have an opinion on how you should do what they don't understand what you are doing, right? So they have an opinion on how to do what they don't understand the what that you're doing, all right? So I'd say the biggest pitfall is people, and when you are so focused, locked in on a goal, and then you let people into your realm, into your sphere, they're going to start to offer your ideas, and then you want to accommodate because you're a nice person, and you're like, oh, let me accommodate, and then now what you were working so hard on for the past X amount of weeks or months and stuff like that, it starts to go down, it starts to go away, and you're like, okay, I'll just start tomorrow, and then tomorrow turns into the day after, and then the day after turns into next week, and it's just like, and now you feel terrible about it because you're like, oh man, I was working so hard. So I'll say the first thing is going to be having people come into your atmosphere who don't understand why you're doing the things that you're doing. All right. So how can that be avoided? Okay, so we'll do it that way. So I'll say, okay, how can the people leading to inconsistency be avoided? Like I was saying the other day, sometimes you're going to have to cut people off for a season until you reach your goal. So like I was saying the other day, for me, like I would love to see my friends, but I know if I see them, it is going to be chaos and havoc when I'm trying to reach a particular goal. So I'm like, all right, I'm gonna have to go away for a second. I'm gonna have to go into to dark mode where I'm gonna have to work really, really, really hard. And I know when I'm around you guys, we like to have fun, we like to party, and that is not gonna be the best thing for me right now. But I let them know. I let my friends know that I'm gonna see you guys in a couple of months when I'm free from these obligations. All right. So, and that's how I deal with the whole people aspect. Right. And I'll tell you this, if my friends cannot understand that, then I have to question the validity of our friendship, because you should be supporting me when I say I have to go away, and I say because I'm working on XYZ, then you should understand and know that, okay, he's doing something, and I'm gonna see him, because a lot of times, as good intentions as they are, oh, but just it's just one time, it won't kill you, and that's I hate passionately when someone says, oh, just do this, it won't be that bad. I'm like, no, you're trying to throw me off my game, and that is unacceptable, right? So that's that. The other common pitfall that leads to inconsistency is not having a plan or a schedule to be able to accomplish that. And I think it goes back to the first question about the daily scrum. If you were to scrumify your life, and you gamify it, where it's like, all right, in 2 weeks I want to be here, and you're like, all right, and I need to work towards that goal, and then you reward yourself for working towards for accomplishing your goal. Like, okay, cool. So in 2 weeks, I'm gonna do this, and you do it, and then you reward yourself. Okay, now in 2 weeks, I'm gonna do this, and every day you're keeping track of it. You're looking at your metrics. You have metrics. You have what it is that you're trying to accomplish, right? I think that's going to be very, very useful. But a lot of times we don't like data, we don't like metrics, because we think that it makes us look bad. But in reality, what the data and what the metrics tell us is, where are we at, and what do we need to adjust to get to where we want to be. So I think having a way to track our progress is the number one key. And a lot of times when we start falling off, we don't want to look at the progress that we're making. We don't want to track it, because we know we aren't doing what we're supposed to do. But I say, no, you have to embrace it and say, okay, I made a mistake. Let me go ahead and let me fix that. Let me figure that out. All right. The last common pitfall I will say is that we don't take it seriously enough. Like, I'll give you an example right now. Because I do not have a choice right now to be at a particular weight by Thursday and maintain that particular weight by Thursday at 3:45 p.m., right? It's probably going to be more like 3 p.m. by the time I check in and stuff like that. But if I did not have that deadline, then I probably would be like, oh, I'll just, then I'll be like, oh, it's next week. It's next week. But because when you have that deadline, and and that's honestly, that's a problem that I'll admit that's a problem for me, that we need to set these deadlines in order to be able to accomplish something, in order to be able to see victory. So we need to say, all right, there is no other option. You know what? I would say this, right? Because for me, if I am not at weight, I lose the money that I spent to join the tournament. I lose the the gas that I'm spending to drive up there, all of that, right? So if you are serious about achieving a goal, right, you need to have it needs to cost you something. It needs to cost you something. Put a cost on how important something is to you, right? Because if you say $10, that means it's not important to you. But let's say you say, all right, I'm gonna put this $1,000 in escrow, right? This $500 in escrow, whatever that amount means to you, right? So if I have a goal to reach in let's say by what day is today? Today is March 18th. If you have a goal to reach by, if you set a goal, whatever date you say, by April 30th, right? What is going to force you to reach that goal? Well, here's a suggestion, right? What about if you put $1,000 in escrow and you say, if I am not at that goal by April 30th, then I lose the money. I don't get it back. So now you are going to work hard. If you care about that, I mean, depending on how much, maybe it's 10,000. I don't know how much is important to you, but if you put that money in an escrow, and the only way you can get it back is if you achieve your goal, I guarantee you're going to achieve your goal, right? And that is another way to avoid that common pitfall of not having a time-based goal. If you guys are familiar with the SMART goal, right? SMART is specific, M is measurable. So S is specific, M is measurable, A is attainable, R is, what? I always forget the R in the SMART goal. It is, let me see. The R is, what is the R? SMART goals. I always forget the R. The R is relevant. And then the T is time bound. The time bound part is important because if you have a open-ended goal, then you're just gonna continue delaying it. So it has to be something that's important to you. So to me, that is how I approach to being more consistent, and avoiding those pitfalls. So hopefully that helps. Hopefully that adds value to you. But if anyone has any follow-ups on that, don't hesitate to ask, and I will do my best to answer it. But those are just my strategies. Hopefully it works for you too. All right. So let's wrap that question up. All right, it is time for us to check the chat. Let's see what we got going on over here in the chat. Let's see. Magnetar says, where is it? He says, I'm sure he's not referring to me and you. Magnetar, I am referring to whoever it can help. All right. I don't assign any names to anything. I just speak in general, and whoever has ears to hear, let them hear. All right. Let's see. He better not be. Okay. Now I feel a bit threatened. Okay. I'm just saying, I feel a little bit threatened now. Let's see. What else we got? We have Kezer6 in the building over on the Twitch side of the game. Because how do you know that the story you choose for a particular day, it is the right thing to work on so that the business can create more value? You know what? That's a great question. Let me see. I don't think it's going to take 5 minutes to answer. So let me answer that right now, right? So the answer to that particular question, how do you know that the story you choose for is the right one to work on? So when you are in your sprint planning meeting, you guys should, your team should determine the priority of the story. So I didn't talk about the sprint planning meeting. I believe I have a video about it. But in the sprint planning meeting, right, you guys need to come up with a sprint goal, and all the story or majority of the stories that are in the sprint should be part of attaining that sprint goal. And then they should be listed in the order of priority. So you don't just, let me put that back up. You don't just choose a random story to work on. You choose a story that is relevant to attaining the sprint goal. So you just you have to come into agreement with the team. You don't just randomly pick a story. You say, all right, I'm gonna pick up this next story that is on our board. Because all the other ones have already been worked on, they're completed, whatever the case may be, and this is my goal for that story, right? Whatever story is created should be adding value to the business, all right? So if there's no value added to the business, the story should not even exist, right? But the story in the sprint should be adding value to completing the sprint goal that you discussed, that you guys agree upon as a team, and the stories that are in the sprint are agreed upon as a team. So everything is teamwork, right? So then once you decide, like once you are up next to work on that story, we're all in agreement that we should be working on that story, and that is the next most important story to be worked on. All right. So that is how you would know that the story that you're gonna be working on is adding value, because that's already been agreed upon from the very beginning of the sprint. All right. But that is a great question, Kezer 6. Thank you so much. I appreciate you.
I appreciate you.
Let's see. I've been known to make pies in the kitchen. And Roxy says, send one to TCR. Not right now.
Do not come.
Maybe on Thursday after 5 p.m. or Friday, but not right now. I cannot. I just thinking about it, I'm gonna be in trouble, right? Roxy says, so throw Trello boards in the trash. I would never say such a thing. Where did it show up? I would never say such a thing. All I'm saying is, depending on your goal, it's like if you're looking to be in tech, right, then there's a 99, there's an 85% chance that in your tech company you're not going to be using Trello. You will most likely be using Jira. So that's why I would say get familiar with Jira. So that's why you set up using Jira. But if you're not looking to be in tech, then there's many viable ways that you can use Trello to manage little projects here and there. But for me, if I'm looking to be in tech, when I'm training my people, I say, all right, we're gonna use Jira. Like all of our projects are using Jira. My tech barbarian, who's leading the new projects that we're working on, they're getting a lot familiar with Jira because they're doing a lot of project management type stuff, or product and project management type stuff. Right. So I wouldn't say throw it in the trash. I would say it depends on your needs. All right. Let's see. Magna says procrastination. I don't think procrastination doesn't really lead to inconsistency, because you never actually get started when you procrastinate. All right. But even with procrastination, like you can still be consistent. If you procrastinate, you just have to.
What's this? Oh, it's only money.
Shout out to my guy Magnetar. I'm gonna read that super chat in just a second, but shout out to you. But yeah, like even if you procrastinate, you're just wasting time. But if you still get it done, then okay. But a lot of times people procrastinate so much so they never get started. But it could be, but I don't know. There's I think that is like lower down the list in the reasons that you might get started but not complete it, because so. But I do see your point. All right. Let me see the super chat that Magnetar says. Magnetar's super chat says, if you're a tech manager, would you, let me make it a little bit bigger. Let me make that bigger. It says, if you're a tech manager, would you hire someone with a BS in cybersec, or someone with it but has a portfolio showing their projects? It depends, right? It depends. Like I would interview. I would, like it depends on the resume, right? I know a lot of people say, oh, networking. For me, it depends on the resume, right? What do you have listed in your resume, and then also what have you done? Are you able to articulate yourself? Are you a good communicator? Are you a good team fit? So it's going to come down to the interview, right? And I know Mitch does not like interviews. I know Mitch doesn't like multiple round of interviews, but there's going to be multiple round of interviews, right? There's going to be the hiring manager who's going to have to talk to them. There's going to be the probably a technical interview. There's going to be a team interview, because everybody has to, or majority of people have to sign in or sign up saying, yes, we think they're going to be a good fit. We're going to be able to work with that person. It's not just a one and done type thing, because if you look at when those rookies get drafted to the NBA, you might get a LeBron James or a Kevin Garnett, but 99% of the time you get a Darrell Wright. I'm just saying. All right. So But yeah, so there's many factors. I would want to talk to both of them, right? I think a BS in cybersecurity is great. Someone with a portfolio is great, but what if like why would the person with a BS in cybersecurity not also have a portfolio, right? So I don't I don't I want to talk to the person, right? I don't look in particular at these little things here and there. I look at the whole package, right? So I'm not really giving you a specific answer because there is no specific answer to that. There's I'm not the only one making the decision. There's many people who are going to be making that decision. So I want to go through that whole process, all right? But great question, Magnetar. Thank you so much for that super chat as well. Really, really appreciate you. Let's see. Mitch says people will tell you how to do something when they never did it. I'm not even gonna touch on that topic, Mitch. I was thinking about that today. I was like, you are 1,000% right though. Mitch says find people that match your energy where if you don't accomplish something, you don't feel right around them. That is a great point as well. It says party. You definitely not partying. Stop the fake news.
Bruh.
All right. Mitch is right. So this is what happens when I go to my friends' houses, right? So I'll go there and we'll hang out. The kids are playing and stuff. I'm talking to my friends and they're like, hey, you want a glass of wine? I'm like, sure, I'll take a glass of wine. And then we eat. So then there's some food. And then my wife is, hanging out, having a great time with them. The kids are hanging out, having a great time. I sit on the couch and I fall asleep because I be getting tired and the wine gets in me. I'm like, and the food. And I'm like, well, I will be back in about 30 to 45 minutes. And I go take a little nap on the couch and I am out of there. Mitch is right. Roxy says demon mode David Goggins. That it helps. Trust me, it helps a lot. Like when you are trying to accomplish a goal, you have to find different ways and tools to extract that greatness from whatever source that is possible. Whether you have to tune into David Goggins, whether you have to be with people who are pushing you, and as annoying as they might be, do they have your best interest in mind? When they're pushing you so hard every single day because they see that you can do it and you have been doing it, and they don't want you to fall off, you need to use whatever resource that's available for you to be able to extract that greatness. All right. So that is my message to you. Let me see. Mitch says it just takes this drink. It says, just take this drink. It's only one. It's only juice. You're right. That's how it goes. We got my guy Maddox in the building. What's up, Maddox? Happy to see you here over on the Twitch side of the game. And Roxy says, or you can give the money to a trusted friend. You could, but what if you don't meet your goal and you come asking? All right. So what happens with Roxy? What happens with this, right? You give it to a trusted friend, right? And you say, all right, by April 30th, I must accomplish XYZ. And now April 30th comes, right? And you don't accomplish XYZ. And you're like, all right, I'm not going to ask for the money because I haven't accomplished it. Let's say you accomplish it by May 10th, right? Let's say you accomplish it by May 10th. And now you go ask your friend for the money. What should your friend do? That's why giving it to a trusted friend might not work out the best way because I don't want you to ruin that friendship. You have to do something. I don't know. Roxy says that's a great suggestion. Thank you, Roxy. I appreciate that.
I appreciate you.
Kezer6 says, shouldn't the customer who is actually the one who tells you create value or not be the one to tell you if you added value or not? I mean, it depends. Is your customer actively joining your what do you call it? Your sprint plannings, your stand-ups and stuff like that. So generally, there are layers of separation, like Kevin Bacon, right? There's layers of separation between the development team and the customer, and normally the product owner, the product manager, is the person who is closer to the customer, to the stakeholder, not even to the customer, they're closer to the stakeholders, to see, okay, what is it that the customers need, and then they take that and then they translate it into what actually needs to be developed by the product team, by the development team, right? So it's not like I would go crazy. I would go crazy if every single customer, because guess what? The company that I work for, we have millions of customers, right? So I would go crazy if I had to find out what story to work on from each and every single customer that we had. So that's why it is based on the needs of the company. We determine what we're going to be accomplishing for the quarter, and then for the sprint, and then for the day, right? And we continue to work towards those goals incrementally, right? So for the customer, the customer is not the one who tells you to create the value. The customer is asking. The customer is asking for a product, and it is the responsibility of the company to find out what is the most valuable thing to deliver to the product. So so the customer cannot tell you, because the customer, like most of the time, they don't even know what they want, right? They just know they want something that works. So that's why it cannot be the customer to dictate what's going to be creating value. They just want something that works, and it's the company's job to determine what that's going to be. All right, but great question again. Let's see. Miss Freckles says, just got back from an evening walk. What's up, techies? Miss Freckles, I am happy that you weren't here earlier, because then you would have told me that the word scrumify is not a word. So it is too late. It's already been used. I'm just giving you an update, but you cannot change it anymore, because it has already been used and it has already been solidified. All right. Miss Freckles says Jira is so annoying.
Congratulations, you played yourself.
Let's see. I meant without it. Without the degree, but has a portfolio. I think the answer that I said is still pretty much stands. Like, it just depends. It depends. Like for me, I am not the biggest person to say, some companies are, but for me, I'm not gonna be like, oh, it has to be a degree, it has to be a degree, it has to be a degree. I want to see what type of work and what type of value and what type of fit that you're going to be in the company, So it all depends. It all comes down to what do you have on your resume, because you could have somebody who has a bachelor's degree who just graduated with no experience, and somebody who doesn't have that bachelor's, has a great portfolio, they've done a lot. And what the companies need at the moment might be somebody with more experience, or it might be somebody who's on a lower level who's just a recent college graduate. So it just depends. It depends on so there's those, like, whoever can answer that question for you, you can tell I'll tell you they never hired anybody, right? Unless it's like, unless it's one of those, what you're more familiar with, like the government says, okay, you need this, and that. But in the private sector, it is very, very malleable and fluent and stuff like that, based on what are the needs of the company, and where we're at, and is it a good fit? We don't have that strict criteria 99% of the time, right? Let me see. Mitch says the proverbial them interviews. Fair enough, Mitch. Let's see. Roxy says he takes his laptops to, Roxy? I told you that in confidence. All right. I told you that in confidence. And Mitch says, as long as it isn't an Apple, I only use Apple computers nowadays. My phone is still Android, but my computers, they are Apple through and through. All right. Ms. Freckles says, listening to David Goggins made me realize I still have a lot of distractions to cut loose, lost all the fat and gain all muscles. And let's see. Mitch is hearing off with the money. Kaiser says, if you don't have customers, are you even creating value? If you don't have customers, find them. Like, all right. Are you working for an actual company? Because the development team, if you're a developer, right, you don't interact with the customers directly. The other people, like account managers and those type of people who are interacting with the customer, they find out what the customer wants, and then the development team translates it into what needs to be built to satisfy those customers. So, like I said before, a customer does not dictate the stories in that you're currently working on from a day-to-day basis. That is a recipe for disaster. All right. Let's see. Anything. Miss Freckles says, Scrimify. Nope.
Do not come.
I hear you, Miss Freckles. I hear you. Let's see. Rock says, you didn't have to confirm. Oh my goodness. All right. That was fun. All right. A lot of comments that we went through, but they were very, very good, very, very informative and useful. But let's get over to our next 2 questions for tonight. Let's do it.
Another one.
Oops. Get that off the screen. All right. So this question is transitioning from a developer to QA. What? Are you really? Says, hi. Does anyone have any advice to share about transitioning from a dev role to a QA role? In my second year of back-end work and wondering what it's like as QA, I purchased a textbook, ISTQB, what? To take the Foundations of Software Testing test. So I have a certification to show for possible QA roles. I like coding and problem solving, but I feel so much pressure from deadlines. I work in back-end developing niche software for a bank. While my team is supportive overall, I wonder if QA is a little bit less stressful.
Bruh.
Should I just push through as I'm still a junior and fight through the growing pains? For those who have transitioned from dev to QA, how did it go for you? All right, let's start the timer, right? So if you do not like tight deadlines, right? Because let's say most Scrum teams are let's say you're working in 2-week sprints, right? If you think that deadlines for getting stuff done in a week to a week and a half is short, imagine when you get delivered the actual code to be tested with about 2 to 3 days left in a sprint. Talk about those deadlines. And now, so now you have to run through all the tests within a few hours, and then you find bugs. I think we had a question the other day where somebody was like, "Oh yeah," and then I find a bug, and then now I don't get to finish doing the test, and they blame me for all these bugs and stuff like that. I'm like, look, QA is not a easy task, because when you are a developer, right, you're thinking about, all right, how do I make this work? As a QA engineer, you're thinking about what are all the different possibilities of this not working, right? And then you have to think about what are all the different ways that our crazy customers can break this stuff. So not only you're trying to figure out how can this like not work, you also have to see, okay, what are the crazy things that the customers can do? Like, all right, because we know if this shouldn't work, this won't work. But what if the customer tries to put a 10 megabyte image or a 10 gigabyte image, however that's possible, into this upload field, and now it brings down our whole entire system. Those are the type of things that you have to think of as QA. And I'll tell you this, right? There is usually for every 4 developers, 1 QA person. So let's say in a sprint, let's just say that each developer has their one story that they're working on. Usually there's more stories than that, right? But each developer has one story that they're working on. And now every time they are done, it comes to you for testing. You being the sole QA person on the team. And if you don't have any, like, let's say you're a new lower level QA person, that's going to be a bit overwhelming for you. See, at least as a developer, you have like one or two stories that you need to focus on. For the QA person, they have to take all of that and let's say what is agreed upon, the velocity of the sprint is about like 20 to 30 points, right? That means that, let's say for developers, let's say 20 points, right? That's about 5 story points per developer, but that is 20 story points that you are responsible for testing. So if you want to run and hide to QA because you think that QA is less stressful, I have sad news for you. My favorite runner-up told me,
Do not come.
all right? So you don't go to QA because you think it's going to be less stressful, you think it's going to be easier. No. You go to QA if you care about the quality of software, if you care about delivering quality software, if you care about thinking about the risks that are going to be involved and stuff like that. It is not a job that is like easy and laid down, because there's a lot of times that you might find yourself working late because your team has to deliver something, right? You have a deadline that you have to meet, and there was a lot of development effort that went into it, and then you end up like, all right, we're in crunch time. I have to work a little bit later in order to get this across the line. So those are the things that happen, right? And not to mention, you're gonna want to get, like, I think as a developer, it's gonna help you with automation and stuff like that, right? You're gonna have to get into automation. You're gonna have to get into the CI/CD pipeline. You're gonna have to be able to have your tests run based on a branch being pushed up and have tests automatically run to give feedback. There's a lot of different things that you're gonna have to do in there. I'm gonna be honest with you. The book you purchased, the textbook you purchased for ISTQB to take the foundations of software testing, you probably wasted your money. Unless you're getting that certification to work for, for some third-party contract, some outsourced overseas contractor, or you are getting it for like maybe some government job that you saw wanted it. But if you're already working, you're trying to transition to QA in your company that you're at now, it's not going to do you any good, right? There are courses that are going to give you a comprehensive overview of software testing, but application is key. I told you this story before, right? But I was in this Discord a long time ago, and there was all these people who really wanted to learn QA. Or not that they wanted to learn, but they thought they learned QA and they wanted a job. And I said, all right, so give me this basic, I asked them a basic interview question, and they gave me all this ISTQB mumbo jumbo about the theory of Einstein's relativity divided by the body mass index multiplied by the volume that goes into the PSI of a tire. I was like, what the hell are you guys talking about? Right? I wanted numbers. They gave me a bunch of mumbo jumbo ISTQB talk, right? And then I said, okay, that's great. What is the actual answer to my question? And nobody could answer the question. Right? So I don't think that's gonna help you. And if your reason for going into QA is because you think it's gonna be less stressful, then I am sorry to tell you, but
Congratulations, you played yourself.
all right. So if maybe all right. I have an idea. I have an idea for you, right? Maybe you should enhance your software development skills and be good at your craft, because if you are not putting an extra 10 to 20 hours a week minimum in practicing to get better at whatever it is you're doing, then you suck, right? Then you suck, right?
I was gonna lie to you, but I had to tell the truth. I'm just being honest.
You gotta put that extra time in Don't be like Allen Iverson, like practice. We talking about practice? Yes, we are talking about practice. You need to practice. You need to get better, because if you invest the time, then you'll be able to think critically a lot better, a lot faster under pressure to be able to get things done. All right. That is my message for you. Let's jump into the next one really, really quick, and then we will go back to the chat because we have to get through these questions. I do not need my video editor coming for me. All right, let's get to it.
Another one.
2.5 years without a damn job. It says 2.5 years without a job, no end in sight. How the hell do I restart my life?
Bruh.
So it says, it is absolutely effing insane that I have been unemployed for 2.5 years. Worse yet, I have yet to figure out what the F to do with my life. This person seems upset. I graduated as an engineer, worked 9 years in tech before being laid off, but I really don't want to work in the field anymore. I have been applying to jobs, but the field is saturated, and the effing interview process are just silly, frustrating beyond reason. Any advice with other careers I can look into? I have no family and I can literally move anywhere in Canada, the potential 51st state of the United States of America, except Quebec. So they can move anywhere in Canada except for Quebec, or maybe why can't you move to Quebec? Do you have some warrants out in Quebec that you can't move to Quebec? I don't know. Or maybe Europe or Australia, but they need a visa. Ideally, I want something that has nothing to do with coding. Alrighty then. So let's get this question fired up. Let's go to our 5 minutes here. And let me check this real quick. Let's see what we got going. All right. So Magnetar knows what I'm going to say. Magnetar knows what I'm going to say. Let's stop running in the victim Olympics. All right. I'm just.
I was gonna lie to you, but I had to tell the truth. I'm just being honest.
So why do I say that? Why do I say to stop running the victim Olympics? Because number one, the attitude that this person and the energy this person is bringing to this question is very negative, right? Here's what I don't understand. If you haven't been working for 2.5 years, how much introspection have you done? Did you look in the mirror to see, okay, why is it that I am not getting any opportunities, because you're already complaining like, oh, the interview process is so bad. I hate it. Just silly and frustrating beyond reason. Well, guess what? You are broke. And last time I take that back. I was about to say last time I checked, broke people don't get to make demands, but I take that back because for some reason they make a lot of demands. I don't understand how that works.
Bruh.
But I would say that if you spent 9 years working in tech and you don't want to work in tech anymore, my suggestion would be get a job in tech until you can find something that is not in tech. Because I don't know about Canada. I know they're very laid back and stuff like that, but nobody owes you anything. You need to take care of yourself. You're a grown human being who's been working for 9 years, and for 2.5 years, what have you been doing for 2.5 years? And if you have not had a job for 2.5 years, there are plenty of jobs that people can get. They might not be the job that they want, but I know for me, if I needed a job, I would probably be working like 5 jobs. If I could not find a job in tech, I'd be working 5 whatever jobs I can get to be able to support me until I can get the job that I want and the job that I like, but 2.5 years is not an excuse, right? I like I said, I think that is the running in the endless race of the victim Olympics, right? I don't care. I do not care if you do not like the interview process, if you think it's silly, if you think it's frustrating, you know what? Get over it. Because guess what? You need whoever is hiring a lot more than they need you. Apparently, because if you've been looking for 2.5 years, then apparently they don't really need you, right? So you need to change yourself in order to be able to fit what is needed, right? A lot of people say, "Oh, I'm just gonna be me." No. A lot of times, me sucks, right? And that's why a lot of times people don't want to work with me. You need to be able to fit in. You need to be able to conform into the workplace, right? So you're gonna have to like, you might hate the interview process. You're gonna have to be a great interviewer, right? You say the field is saturated. People get hired every single day. So maybe your skill set is lacking. Just because you've been in the field for 9 years doesn't mean you're good at it. All right. Hard truths. Just because you've been doing something for a very, very long time, maybe you were just tolerated, but not necessarily appreciated. Is that possible? And now that your attitude stinks, they're like, well, why are you even bothering to talk to this person, right? So advice of what other careers you can look into? Well, I will be glad to say if you do not want to work in tech, right? And you don't want to do anything with coding, you could be the manager of a department store, maybe a small restaurant, maybe a fast food restaurant. There's, I don't know, maybe you can work for a hospital, maybe a receptionist. I don't know. There's many things you can do that doesn't require any coding. But I will also tell you that those fields are very saturated as well. For me, when the video that I made yesterday, idle minds lead to idle hearts, lead to idle hands. You need to be like, I do not believe that there is somebody who is an engineer who is not building something always. For me, and this is my personal opinion, right? As an engineer, whatever type of engineer, whether you're a QA engineer, whether you're a DevOps engineer, whether you're a software engineer, whatever, you should always have some little project that is in motion, that is valuable to you and hopefully valuable to other people, that you can show like the value. I honestly do not believe that your engineering skills belong only to your employer. No, your engineering skills belong to you. You outsource, you sell your skills to an employer and they pay you for that. You're basically a contractor, right? And that's for everybody. Your skills, the special set of skills that you have, you're just selling those skills to a person who's willing to pay you for them. But you should also always be using your skills to grow and enhance and benefit you, right? So that is my thought. Do I feel sorry for this person? Absolutely not. Couldn't care less, right? You need an attitude adjustment, not the drink attitude adjustment. You need a true attitude adjustment, and you should just take what you can get for now, and then you can figure out where you want to go from there, right? But that's all I got. That's all I got for you, okay? All right, let's get to the chat and see what all of my friends are saying. Let's see. Kezzer6 says, you explained before that people are the ones who are the problem, and now you're saying that all these middle people will tell you what they think the customer said. I think you are confused by the question about the common pitfalls that lead to inconsistency, where I'm saying people can be the reason that you lead to inconsistency. Speaking about the software development and Scrum process, I am saying that the customer is far removed from the developer. So if you need to know as a developer what story to work on, then that is coming, that's the team decision to make, right? So maybe meh to you, all right? But thank you for the question. Truly appreciate you being here. Let's get to our next one. Rock says, please give an example of a story. Sure. So let's say you are, I'll give you a practical example, right? So the app that the new app that tech barbarians are building, right? We're building an app that is going to be giving you interview questions based off of a job description that you pass, right? You can pass a job description via the URL. You can upload a PDF. You can upload a Word doc. You can copy and paste, right? So that's 4 different ways that you can do that. So a story, the current story that we have in our sprint is you can say as somebody who is prepping for an interview, I want to put in the URL of the job posting so that the app can return to me interview questions, right? So that would be a story that we're going to be working on. And then you'd have another story to do the same thing, but with uploading the PDF, and another story with uploading the Word doc, and another story with copying and pasting the whole description into it. So those are some different stories that you can have. We have another story we're going to say, okay, I want to be able to put in my resume as well. And then the questions are going to be based on the job description and my resume. So that's going to be a separate story as well. So those are different stories that would be for a software development process. Let's say you have a personal project, like let's say you want to remodel your kitchen, right? So let's say a story. So let's say the whole thing is remodeling the kitchen, but a sub what we'll call an epic would be, all right, the cabinets that we need to change the cabinets, right, at some point. Well, stories would be, okay, as someone who is remodeling the kitchen and is, getting the cabinets, I want to choose the hardware for the cabinets, where I'm going to say, okay, what are the knobs, what are the handles and stuff like that? What are the style of the cabinets that I want to choose? That would be a story that you would work on. And once you have that decision, you have all your documentation and stuff like that. So that would be an example of a story. Okay. So hopefully that helps. Magnus says, did someone say government? Nope. Let's see. Number 5. Let's see. So, how do I transition from a back-end software engineer to an AI engineer? I would say that it depends on what type of AI engineering that you're going to be doing. Like, are you going to be doing large language model engineering? Are you going to be doing prompt engineering, stuff like that? Because I think that they can be very similar, because if you're doing large language models, you're going to have to integrate with the APIs of those large language models. If you're going to be creating your own large language model, things like that. So I think that like you can easily find a course that talks about AI engineering and see what are the differences between software engineering. There's also like roadmap.sh that talks about AI engineering and stuff like that. But I think that they're very, very close together, right? I think the two are very, very close together, and that if you were to look into for example, in the mornings, on Mondays and Wednesday mornings, I do large language models, AI engineering type stuff to get a better feel of it. And we've been integrating with many different large language models. We build a content creation workflow. I think that type of stuff is, you're gonna see how similar to like the backend engineering that stuff is, and you can easily find a way in. So I don't necessarily think that there's much difference, but you just have to see, okay, what are the different roles? You have to do research. What is the requirements of an AI engineer? And then see, okay, what are the similarities and what are the differences, and see, okay, let me gain those skills wherever I can get them from, like whether it's taking a class, online course, whatever. Just find out what's missing. And you can do that by looking for different job descriptions of AI engineers and fill in those gaps. But I think as a backend software engineer, you have pretty much 90% of the necessary prerequisites to make that transition. All right. So hopefully that helps you with that. Let me see what else we got. Magnus says, I hate interviews too, but for the job I really wanted / needed, I I threw on a three-piece suit and interviewed for an hour and a half. Praise God, they hired me and accepted my negotiations. For me, I'm like, you have to, when you hate something, you have to work at it even more so you can become really, really good at it, and then now you can excel at it. So for me, I don't mind interviewing. I just get to, as Mitch says, are you complaining or bragging? I just get to brag about myself whenever I interview, right? So I understand what you're saying. I understand what you're saying. Mr. Chris says, how are people not scared of being homeless while being picky? Doesn't the couch get lumpy eventually? That is a great question. That is a great question, Miss Freckles. Mentions a month or so into the job, they laughed and said I prolonged the interview. I'm gonna say this, Magnetar. A lot of times we don't know and or believe how great we really are. Like we just don't have that confidence in us. I'm not saying that about you. I'm just saying in general. But because we don't practice and we don't list down our accomplishments. But when you make note of the things that you've done and how much value that they brought, it just makes it a lot easier for you to talk about like the great things that you've done. All right. So I mean, honestly, Magnetar, between you and me, Elon is helping y'all. He is building out your talking points for whatever you do next. All right. Let me see. Mitch says a manager at Chick-fil-A. I'm just saying. Ms. Record says Coca-Cola has a ton of openings from the oh my God. You are terrible, Miss Freckles. My goodness.
Ain't believing us.
My goodness, Miss Freckles. Let's see. What else do we have? A model. Oh my God. A model to Stevie Wonder. You are terrible. We got C. Marshall in the building. What's up, C. Marshall? C. Marshall says, What up, good people? What's good with you, C. Marshall? Look, when I had my interviews, I had on three-piece suits as well. I'm like, look, I am going to leave no. You know what? I commend you, Magnetar, because you did what you had to do. Like when I interview, I have on I be walking in there looking like Conor McGregor, right, with my three-piece suit, and I'm like, let's get it. Let's see. Magnetar says, I really wanted the job. It was a promotion. You did what you had to do. I am proud of you, Magnetar. I am very, very proud of you. Let's see. Rock says, thank you for the example. It is my absolute pleasure. Let's see. I know what triggers Magnetar. Says, brother, Elon is not helping. Hey, it is all in the eye of the beholder. Mr. says, whenever I make up my mind on what I want to, I get it. All in your mindset and claiming what is yours. And Mr. says, I thought I said it right. With all due respect, did I say it wrong? You are perfectly okay now, Miss Freckles. As long as you say with all due respect, you can say whatever you want after that. According to Ricky Bobby. Shake and bake. All right, shake and bake. All right. Let's continue on with the show. Let's get to our next two questions of the night.
Another one.
It is such a depressing job market. I promise you it's not the same person who said that the previous question is, right? It says, the job market sure is depressing as... Yup. It says, I'm getting rejected left and right, not even making it past the first screening. I've been working in the field as a software development engineer and test for 12 years now. And it's quite depressing. I know many of you are in the same boat. I can't help but wonder if the ATS, the automated tracking system, is rejecting me, or if I'm applying too late. I usually only apply to recent job posts. Has anyone had success breaking in with HR? So let's start this time, all right? I will say this. Are you updating your resume to the job that you're applying for? So here's what I tend to notice happens, right? We like when we are really looking for a job, when we're desperate, right? We'll just start to apply for a bunch of different jobs. Any job that's available, we'll just apply for it. And we don't take the time to actually look and consider what it actually is that we're applying for, right? And to me, if you are unemployed, right, then getting a job actually becomes your employment, if that's what you're looking for, right? So you need to, the same way that when you were working and you had your daily scrum meetings and you had your working on a team and stuff like that, having your stories, you need to do the same exact thing. Ms. Freckles, with all due respect, you need to scrumify your workflow, right? A lot of times when we get laid off or fired or whatever, right? And now we have all this open time on our calendar, we become bums. We wake up at God knows what time. We go to sleep at God knows what time. And we don't do anything productive. We don't better our skills. We just say, I'm just going to apply. I had somebody who, which was pretty creative. They automated applying for every job that they saw on LinkedIn, which was creative. However, I don't think they got any responses. All right. So my thing is, it is work where you are carefully crafting your resume. I'll give you an example. If you're an SDET, right, for 12 years, do you have the tools like Playwright? Do you have the tools like, because 12 years ago, there was no Playwright, there was no Cypress, there was CI/CD pipeline for QA was barely a thing, right? There was Selenium back then, but are you keeping up with the trends? Are you updating? Are you like, or are you still offering the same type of work from 12 years ago? You see me here. I'm learning about DevOps. I'm learning about ethical hacking, penetration testing, learning about large language models. So I'm always looking to see, okay, what is the next thing that's happening? What's happening that I need to be up to date on, so that number one, I can always have a fresh resume. I can always be in the know of all the different technology that's happening, so that I am not the odd man out, or in or out, whatever the saying is, right? But that's why I'm always looking to grow. I'm always practicing. So that's one thing. The other thing is, if you can't make it past the first screening, maybe you're a bad communicator. Maybe you don't show confidence. Maybe your skills might be a little bit outdated. So my question to you is, what did you do? What did you do today? If you are unemployed, if you're looking for a job, right? What did you do today? And don't tell me I applied to 3 jobs. All right. Don't tell me you applied for 3 jobs. Okay, you applied for 3 jobs today. What did you do yesterday? I applied for another 3 jobs. Oh, really? Okay. What did you do on Sunday? Well, it was Sunday. I spent time with with my loved ones. Oh, really? Unemployed on a Sunday? Like you don't have a job and Sunday you're just it's family time? I don't think so.
Congratulations, you played yourself.
For me, when I am not happy with my situation or my conditions, I get really, really upset and angry at myself that I work 10 times as hard. So if you think that I work hard now on this channel, you should see me when I'm upset. Some people that like I talk to, right? When I have a goal that I'm trying to meet and it goes slightly off course, I get so pissed off at myself. And I think that the problem is a lot of times we are way too nice to ourselves. We're way too nice to ourselves. We don't get upset enough at ourselves where we are forcing ourselves to be better. We're like digging to the depths of the last that we have to extract greatness from ourselves and say, you know what? I have more I can give. So trying to blame, like maybe the ATS is rejecting you. Who knows? Right? But why is the ATS rejecting you and not other people? Are you learning the necessary things? Are you doing the necessary adjustments, the modifications that you need so that you can be given the opportunity to prove why you will add value to whatever company? So for me, my mindset is if it does not add value, like I was saying earlier to get this question, like if it doesn't add value, then it's not worth doing. So I'm always looking for, okay, how can we add value? All right. So is your resume showing that it adds value to a company, or like most resumes I see, is just saying, oh, I know how to do the basics of the job requirement. I know how to write a test case. I know I wrote test cases. I wrote automation. Like, okay, who cares? That's the expectation. What are the awesome things that you've done? Is your resume bragging about you? If it is not bragging about you, then no one cares. All right. That's all I got to say about that. All right. Let's wrap that one up. And let's go over to one more before we get to the chat.
Another one.
I received an email begging me not to quit. So this one says, how do I respond to this email begging me not to quit? All right, it says, I just put in my 2 weeks notice at my job where I have been employed for over 15 years. There are many reasons why I needed to leave, but over the past year and a half, things have gotten progressively worse. And I can't deal with the toxicity anymore. You and me, like, I know what you mean when you're trying to get away from all that negativity and toxicity, but it just keeps pulling you back. I hear you. Back in September, we had a new CEO start with us, and he brought his wife along. What? The wife got brought along too, who was hired shortly after. She has absolutely no idea what she's doing and has been very difficult working alongside someone who has absolutely zero experience in the position or even our industry. She doesn't want to do any work, but she wants to tell the three of us what to do, even though we do not report to her. She does a lot of pretending that she knows what to do, almost like she's playing Office. I had also been threatened to play very nice and to show excitement over her terrible, trashy, crap-like, okay, I added those adjectives, ideas, or else I might lose my job.
Bruh.
When my resignation was announced on Friday, I received a long email from her begging me to explain why I'm leaving the company, telling me she loved working together, begged me to please stay. What can she do to make me stay, and how can she make things work for me? I realize it's probably because she knows that she's going to actually have to start doing work, in parentheses, that she doesn't know how to do. I added those parentheses, which she doesn't want to do and she doesn't know how to do. Okay, forget my parentheses. They said it themselves, right? What is the most appropriate way to respond to her question professionally? I know if I don't respond, she will continue to barrage me with emails like she always does when I don't get back to her in 5 minutes. Well, that is a great question, right? So, an easy answer to your question would be, I'm going to give it to you right now. Give me a second. Where is that answer to your question? It is Let me see. It's this one right here.
I used to roam those crowded streets where all the ghosts I know. But I'm a torch to every bridge, ain't scared to let them go. I got my past in the rear view mirror. All the voices couldn't be any clearer. They say don't burn bridges, don't you dare. I got dynamite, I just don't care.
Blow them up, let the pieces fly. Watch the dust settle.
That is my answer to that question. Look. In the words of my bestie Mitch, them, all right? Like, I don't care if you get barraged with a bunch of emails. Like, either don't answer, take your 2 weeks, or just quit. Like, what is it to you? Why do you care? Like, and that's the thing that I never really understood, right? If you put in your 2 weeks notice, right? And like, it's kind of sucks that you have to put in 2 week notice, because then you have to deal with people trying to get you to stay. But if you're gonna be harassed, which if they really want you, they will, right? But if you're gonna be harassed by somebody you don't even like, you can try to ignore them, right? Or you could tell them that, you guys remember what I said? You guys remember what I said on Sunday? The last thing, right? First, you're gonna have to start off with all due respect. With all due respect, you can go yourself, right? So if you say with all due respect, then it becomes okay, right? All right, don't do that. Don't do that. But do it politely, saying, look, I am not staying. I am leaving. There is absolutely nothing that you can do to get me to stay. All right. And if you want me to leave right now, then I can do that. But if you want it to be done amicably, if you want me to do a knowledge transfer and all the stuff of what I've been doing, then you respect my resignation and I will be gone in 2 weeks. But if you cannot do that, then I'll just leave right now. Right? Like, I don't believe you need to be harassed when you are planning on leaving a company, right? Now, if they're trying to convince you to stay, trying to make you a counter offer and stuff like that, that's not harassment, right? But the way that you describe this person who's gonna be, if you're gonna be sending me emails every 5 minutes, right? I'm like, look, I don't have, ain't nobody got time for that. Ain't nobody got time for that. So we are not doing that. What we're not gonna do, I hate when people say that, but what we're not gonna do, you're not gonna be like interrogating me on why I'm leaving. Because guess what? I might just be honest with you.
I'm just being honest.
I might just be honest with you, and I might just tell you about yourself, and then I'll get fired. And then I'll get to collect unemployment for like a week, right? Because I already got a new job, so I don't care, right? But I don't think it's something to worry about. I honestly don't think you getting an email begging you to stay is something for you to worry about. You just say no. Simple as that. You just say no. Say, I'm out of here. Peace out. It's been real. You do like a Sammy Sosa home run. All right, that's it. That's all there is to it. Because guess what? The beauty is they cannot make your life miserable anymore. Because in the coming 2 weeks, if they try to make your life miserable, then you just bounce. Like, all right, well, it's been real. I'm out of here. I'm gonna take vacation for the last week, or you just don't show up anymore. Like, you already got the offer, you already accepted it. You just do what you got to do, right? And that's why I say never be afraid to burn a bridge when necessary. I'm not saying burn all bridges, but some bridges are worth burning.
I used to roam those crowded streets where all the ghosts I know. But I'm a torch to every bridge, ain't scared to let them go. I got my past in
that is my answer to that question. All right. Let's check the chat before we get to our last two questions of the night. All right. Let me see. And if anyone wants to call in, feel free to call in. We can have a conversation. Let's see. So, Miss Freckles says, learning tech and etiquette plus vocabulary training all in one place. Happy to be of service to you, Miss Freckles. Let me see anything. I missed anything before that? Nope. All right. So, let's see. Roxy says, Scrumify is now a word. We are keeping it. I agree. Scrumify is a tech coach Ralph word, and it stays. Let's see what else we got. Miss Freckles. Why can't if other people can invent words, like, because every word that we're using, somebody had to invent it, right? So why can I not? I used to have my own dictionary. To be honest with you, back in the day, I had my own dictionary. Why can't I not just invent a word that sounds good to me? Like, why not? Let's see. Rock says she's begging. See you later, crabs. I agree. That you play that song on your last day. Mitch was like, I was thinking the same thing. Them emails. I'm telling you. Mitch says, light up the dynamite, burn, blow up that bridge. Right? Says, ignore them till they go away. I hear you. And Ms. Rucker says, with all due respect, I will help you when I have a free moment, or quit. I hear that. Says, just tell him I'm not saying there's anything wrong with you. It's just nothing wrong. That was a good one. There's not anything wrong with you. It's just there's nothing wrong with me. I hear that. That was a good one. Mitch says, Sammy Sosa home runs were fake though. Tainted. Look, I don't care if they're fake or not. All I know, he used to do the. All right, I'm just saying. Let's see. It says, in the words of a great poet, cry me a river, build a bridge, and get over it. That is true. I agree. Let's see. Miss Freckles says, I don't make the rules. Why you asking me? I feel flat. You should feel flat. You should feel flattered, Miss Freckles. All right. Let's get to our last two questions before we wrap it up for tonight. And we go our ways. All right. So, but we will be back tomorrow morning. Okay. So let's go ahead and let's do this.
Another one.
Gamifying agile teams' workflow or their work. All right. So it says, where's my question? All right. So it says, I'm exploring the idea of gamification in software development, and I'm curious about your thoughts. Having mostly used it as a self-motivator in my personal life, I want to extend it to my work life. As a project/product manager initially, my first goal would be to gamify my devs' work environment and allow them to play a game linked to the work done during the day. Today, as the first-time founder wannabe trying to launch a company around this idea, I'm convinced that gamification could play a key role in improving engagement, reducing turnover, fostering team building, and more. Data seems to confirm this, but I want to avoid falling into the pitfalls of gamification, creating a highly competitive, toxic, or meaningless environment. Linked to boards, code, CI/CD, it would be the best agile tracking tool while raising team engagement. As a developer, how do you think this could help you, and what are the things you would hate to see in it? as a manager, would you think this kind of tool to strengthen your team and gain clear reporting KPIs with relevant information centralized in one place? So I'll say this. I did an article a while back, maybe sometime last year, about gamifying your workflow. And I'm gonna start the timer, right? So I love the idea of gamifying your workflow. The only caveat I would say is do not turn your developers and whoever else is on the team against each other. Do not have them compete against each other. Have it be a team goal, right? So you gamify the workflow in a team-based fashion so that they can all work together and they can share the common interest and the common goal. Because the last thing that you want to do is turn highly competitive, highly educated, highly skilled people against each other, because now you're gonna have them racing against each other, competing against each other, and once you start adding the element of speed and stuff like that, there's gonna be resentment. There's gonna be bad code and stuff like that. So I would say make it more like a team strategy. And I think the whole Scrum process, the whole software development process, it's a good 75% gamified already, because the Scrum comes from like rugby, I believe, right? So the whole concept of every 2 weeks incremental progress, just when you look at American football, for instance, where American football, it's a Scrum process, right? Your goal is to get down the field and score a touchdown, but you go in 10-yard increments, and within those 10-yard increments, you have four downs to make it to 10 yards, right? So, and every play is incremental value. Sometimes you go backwards, sometimes you go forwards, right? Depending on the team you root for, right? So I think that gamifying your work and your software development process is very, very good. It's very, very useful, but it has to be a team game. It can't be an individual game. Like, it can't be like a Mortal Kombat where developers versus developer. It has to be a team sport where they are all working together towards a common interest, a common goal. And then so when you're setting deadlines, so I'll give you an example of some of the things that we do, right? We set a sprint goal. We set how many stories we want to accomplish. We track out of how many of the last 6 goals we've accomplished, right? And then we say, okay, well, last sprint we did 20 story points. Can we, based on our availability, can we push it to 25 story points? And sometimes we even get higher than what we committed to. We had this goal that we wanted to accomplish. However, this thing came up that's blocking our success of the sprint. Well, can we get that accomplished in this sprint? We might have to pull in an additional story, take on some more work, but can we achieve our goal, our common goal? So to me, I think that work, it's a sport. For me, work is a sport, right? And it's important to have that competitive nature, but it's not competing against each other. It's competing against ourselves as a team to see, okay, can we be better than we were our last sprint? Can we be better than we were our last project? Can we be better than we were yesterday? However, together as a unit, as a team, that is where I see the big difference happening, right? So that's so that's how I see it. But I love the idea. I absolutely love the idea of gamifying the workflow. A lot of times that's how I work. Like when you see me put on these timers, on when we're doing DevOps, when we're doing large language models, and I'm racing against the time. We have these 20-minute segments, and then we do our breaks and stuff like that. I'm gamifying my workflow to give me excitement to continue to show up and do it, and to actually give you guys some sense of excitement. So you guys, okay, we have are we going to meet our goal before the show is over? And sometimes we meet our goal in the nick of time, and that is so exciting to me. So I definitely think that. I would say gamify everything. Gamify your learning experience, gamifying the way that you work as a team, as an individual basis. Whatever it is that you do, make it exciting. Because I remember, and I'll wrap this up really quick, right? I was in a Discord one time, and somebody said they had to take a boot camp to learn software engineering. However, they were thinking about not completing it or not going into it because they found software engineering boring. I was like, you find what? And I'm like, why do I not find these things boring? And that's because I find a way to make it exciting. So for me, I'm like, you know what? Whatever is going to pay me, I'm going to find a way to make it exciting. Right? I'm going to find a way to enjoy where the money is, right? I'm just saying that is my thoughts on it. I say you always want to gamify your workload, because if you like playing games, make it challenging and go out there and win and go out there and get
Let's get it.
All right, let me wrap that question up. And let's get to our last question of the night before we check the chat and wrap it up. All right, so let's do it.
Another one.
Scrum Masters versus product managers. All right, so let me update this real quick to product managers, because they are. Let me do that. Let's do this. Boom. There we go. Scrum Masters versus product managers. So it says Scrum Masters at my company do absolutely nothing, while product managers do everything. I highly doubt this is normal, but would like some reassurance. I'm a product manager at a relatively small company. My team consists of one Scrum Master with business analysts and engineers. Currently, I do pretty much all project management and product ownership tasks, and while the Scrum Master does absolutely nothing. I run all agile meetings, stand-ups, refinements, grooming, planning, demo, etc. Create most tickets, write technical/product requirements. Personally, work on almost half the investigations as we don't have enough resources. Write other technical documentations as needed. Define the roadmap. Do all business impact trade-offs analysis, including financial targets. Lead all presentations to senior leadership. The Scrum Master basically just sits in all meetings and asks, is X done? And does not contribute whatsoever to anything above. I feel like I'm working 1.5 to 2 jobs, while the Scrum Master does absolutely nothing and probably gets paid the same as me.
Bruh.
Am I overreacting? My manager is completely non-technical and doesn't know a single thing about agile software development, so raising this concern to him would be futile. Resistance is futile. All right, let's start the clock on this one. So I'll say this. Let me get a sip of water first. So I will say this, right? Number one, all the things that you listed outside of running the meetings, right? Outside of running the meetings, like they're kind of your job, to be honest with you, right? So I agree that the Scrum Master should run the stand-up, should run the refinement, should, and by run I mean orchestrate, right? Because at the end of the day, the stand-up is like the Scrum Master is asking, like they're initiating it, but it's up to the developers and everyone else to say, okay, what is it that they're working on, things like that. The refinements, that is, although the Scrum Master orchestrates these meetings, the refinement is basically in most cases the product manager or the developer is saying, okay, this is where the story at. These are the acceptance criteria, and the Scrum Master is looking over to make sure that this story meets the specifications of what needs to be done. So like, does a story is a story clear on what needs to be worked on, even if the Scrum Master is not 100% familiar with it, right? Is there a clear acceptance criteria? What is the definition of done? So the Scrum Master is a lot of times overseeing those parts of it, but they're not getting into the nitty gritty about the actual like details of the story, right? The grooming, planning, demo, like I said, the Scrum Master orchestrates that, but they're not the one doing the majority of the presentation because what is a Scrum Master's number one job? The number one job of a Scrum Master is to make sure, is to protect the team, right? And if there's any blockers or obstacles for the team, to remove those blockers and obstacles. That is the number one job of a Scrum Master. And if a Scrum Master can do that, they do an amazing, amazing job, right? But it is not their job to do all that you have listed below, right? So create most tickets. Scrum Masters do not create tickets. They make sure that there are tickets created and that needs to be worked on. Scrum Masters check the velocity, like the Scrum Masters gives the reporting about, okay, what are our metrics? Did we meet our goals? Stuff like that. But they don't create the tickets. The tickets could be created by the product manager and or the developer and or the business analyst. And anybody can create a ticket, right? But usually it's going to be the product manager or the developers or the business analyst, right? Write technical / product requirements. If you are the product owner, product manager who's defining the product that needs to be done, then that's going to be a shared responsibility again between the product manager, the business analyst, the QA maybe, and the developers, right? And you can figure out how to do that with the team. Work on half the investigations as we don't have enough resources. So okay, I understand you might be a small company, you don't have enough resources. Write other technical documentation. That is like writing technical documentation is not, I repeat, it is not the job of a Scrum Master. I'm sorry. Like a lot of times Scrum Masters are not even that technical because their job is not to be technical. It is to make sure that the team is a well-oiled machine, that they like, what is the temperament of the team? Are they able to, like, do they have any blockers? Where are we on our timelines, right? So that is not the job of a Scrum Master. Defining the product roadmap, defining the product roadmap is 100% the job of a product owner / product manager, right? Do all business impact trade-offs and analyzing, including financial targets. That is also the job of the product person. Maybe also the business analyst, but that is the job of a product person, right? Lead all presentations to lead senior leadership. That is also the job of a product manager. The Scrum Master basically just sits in all the meetings, asks, is X done? That is part of their job and does not contribute whatsoever to anything which is not part of their job.
Bruh.
So I think you might be overreacting. Now, is it possible that the Scrum Master can do some of the stuff that you're doing above? Absolutely, they can. However, with the attitude that you're employing towards the Scrum Master, guess what? I wouldn't want to help you either. I would not want to help you either.
Congratulations, you played yourself.
If it is your job, right, then it's your job. But if you want to work together with your Scrum Master in order to like lighten up the burden, I think that is perfectly okay, because in a Scrum team, the role, like, while we all have our individual roles, we like at the end of the day, the goal is to get the job done, to get the mission done, right? And that's the part of the gamifying the workflow. So if there are some parts that the Scrum Master can help you with, then I think it's perfectly acceptable. But you need to have a conversation with your Scrum Master, and you need to help. Like, you can't have the attitude of my Scrum Master does absolutely nothing. No, it sounds like the Scrum Master is doing their job, right? But it sounds like you need help. And I think that the work that you're doing, some of it can be distributed amongst a team, because you might be responsible and accountable for a lot of things, but that doesn't mean you can't get cooperation to help you with these things. So like writing technical documentation, I think that can easily be shared responsibility between your developers and your QA and your business analysts, right? I really don't see the Scrum Master writing technical documentation. I think that there's other things that you do that the Scrum Master can help you with, but you need to have that conversation, and you need to be open and willing to say that you actually need help, because guess what? You're just doing your job. They're doing their job. You're doing your job, but you need help, and that's why you're frustrated. You think and I believe that you are overreacting. All right, so that is my thought on that. That's my honest to God truth. All right. All right. Let's wrap that question up. Oops. Alrighty then. So let me check the chat before we get up and out of here. So let's see. What do we got in the chat? Let's see. Ms. Freckles says, as a non-gamer, I appreciate working with a gaming timer as well. My productivity shot through the roof. I think a cool thing as well, if you can do it, is like when you have either a physical timer or a computer timer, and you're like working like the what is it, Pomodoro, where you're like working in 25 minute increments or 40 minutes increments, whatever, or 50-minute increments and 10-minute breaks, or 25-minute increments with 5-minute breaks, where you're like, all right, for the next 25 minutes, I'm going to be focused. I'm going to get this done, and then I'm going to take a break, and then I'm going to come back to it. I think that can be helpful as well. Roxy says, super project manager. Let's see. Manchester was driving back at the mall. It was the game store that took over yesterday. Is that the article you shared the other day? Mitch is getting me a PS5. It's an arcade place. Let's see. We got Rod Brown, the nourishing word himself, in the building. What's good, Rod Brown? How are you doing? Hopefully all is well with you. Let's see what else we got. That is it. That is it for tonight. And we have 4 minutes to spare. So let's wrap it up. So we're going to be going live tomorrow morning. We're going to be doing large language models. We're going to be continuing the project that the course gave us. I think the project is so much easier than what we worked on the past few weeks, but let's get through it. And then we're going to move on to our next stuff. Tomorrow afternoon, we're going to be premiering, talking about like what tokens are with large language models, or like, when you connect to the API of a AI provider. We're going to be talking about tokens and how the costs and stuff like that. Thursday, I'm going to be playing back a video from like early last year, late 2023, working on cybersecurity. I think I'm gonna do the one for Grafana, where we install Grafana. We're trying to mess with that, all that good stuff, right? But yeah, so that's what we have upcoming. Really appreciate every last one of you being here. But I have a question for you before we wrap it up for tonight. The question is,
Are you not entertained? Are you not entertained? Is this not why you are here?
I had an amazing time. So much fun. A lot of great questions. A lot of great interaction in the chat. So I thank every last one of you who tuned in, who asked questions, who gave feedback. I love the discourse with Kezer 6. Hopefully, I was able to clarify my point about prioritizing what to work on and not becoming a slave to your millions of customers. All right. So just saying that. All right. But you guys know that yesterday's price is not today's price, and today's price is certainly not tomorrow's price, because
one more thing. Price of the brick going up.
The price of the brick is always going up. And with that being said, I'm going to get out of here. You guys have an amazing night. Get rid of this real quick. Tech Coach Ralph, we are out.
I used to roam those crowded streets where all the ghosts I know, but I'm a torch to every bridge, ain't scared to let them go. I got my past in the rear view mirror, all the voices couldn't be any clearer. They say don't burn bridges, don't you dare. I got dynamite, I just don't care. Blow them up, let the pieces fly, watch the dust settle underneath the sky. Never look back learn to forgive. I know what it takes to truly live. Cut the ties and watch me thrive. This is my life, I won't just survive. Blow them up, let the pieces fly. Watch the dust settle underneath the sky. Never look back, keep my head held high. No more tears, I won't cry. They say that time can heal the wounds, but I'm not one to wait. Patience lost in the inferno, burning past debate. Each step away, another layer peeling off my skin. Emerging from the ashes, ready to begin. Memories like shadows, they fade away. Couldn't weigh me down on my brightest day. Goodbye to the old, I'm breaking free. No regrets, this is the new me. Blow them up, let the pieces fly. Watch the dust settle underneath the sky. Never look back, keep my head held high. No more tears, I won't cry. Just don't look back. The past is just a memory in gray and black. Keep walking forward, leave the wreckage far behind. I'm setting fire to every bond that tried to hold my mind. Bridges, don't look back. The past is just a memory in gray and black. Keep walking forward, leave the wreckage far behind. I'm setting fire to every bond that tried to hold my mind.